Welcome to Shit My Soul Says, a podcast about all things woo. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Rosalie, and we are obsessed with anything having to do with alternative spirituality.
And we want to share our obsession with you, because woo is fun, but it's more fun with friends. I'm a reincarnation coach and energy worker.
And I'm a practicing witch, so we've been around the woo block a time or two.
Mm-hmm. Each episode, we will be digging into a different topic, from tarot to third eyes to energy healing.
We'll share our personal experiences and offer you practical advice for your own practice.
So whether you're new to all of this or queen of the pagans,
that's me.
Everybody is welcome.
No witch card needed. This is inclusive woo. We just want to laugh with you, learn with you,
and talk about some woo shit with you. So let's do that. Let's talk about Shit My Soul Says.
Hi, Jillian.
Hi, Rosalie.
We're back for another episode.
Here we are.
Woo woo.
Woo woo.
And it's time for the weekly woo.
It's time for the weekly woo.
Why don't you tell our listeners what the weekly woo is?
So the weekly woo is the part of our episode where we talk about some woo shit that we've gotten up to or that's happened to us or we've just danced in, whatever. We just did some woo shit, and so we're going to talk about it.
What's your weekly woo?
So my weekly woo, I can actually make it a long story. You know me. I'm good at long stories, but I'm going to snip it this time.
I was going to say, you're good at making anything into a long story,
yes,
but I'm here for it.
I appreciate you. But for the sake of time, I'll keep it short to the point. I am having a bit of a kind of interpersonal dynamic with a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And I don't need to get into all of the details, but it's just like one of those moments where it's like somebody that I care about that I've been friends with a long time, but our relationship has got rocky, right? Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of feelings and I have a lot of anger and stuff. And normally in these kind of relationships, I tend to, in these times, I either totally shut down and totally evacuate from the friendship, or I can be, if I do communicate, I can be maybe a little too aggressive or a little too much, mm-hmm. right? And so I've been thinking a lot about, I didn't want to show up the same way I have, right? I wanted to think differently. So what I did in order to figure out how to respond to my friend in this message that she had sent me is, instead of responding from my mind and my the negative energy I felt, I did a meditation and I tapped into my soul. And I had a conversation with my soul and was like, okay, you got to help me out here. How do I respond to this message that's in a way that's loving, but it's also honest?
Yeah.
So it was amazing as I was meditating there. I got kind of this whole message about how to respond. And so that's the message that I sent. And I felt so good about it. And got a good response.
That's awesome.
Now I've got to go back to my soul again because I don't know how to respond to this shit either. Trying to be a better person, but it's hard sometimes.
But I really love that idea of not coming from a place of habit.
Mm-hmm. And reaction and negative patterns that we've developed over this lifetime, but going deeper, going to the source of who you are as a human being and reacting to somebody else, how you are as a human being, and recognizing their soul in the whole process too. Yeah. This is what I've been thinking about. It's she's a human soul and she's dealing with her own shit and she's making her choices the best that she knows how. And I can't fault her for that. Maybe I don't want to be involved in those choices. But regardless, I still have love and compassion for her as the soul being that she is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose that just because my human self doesn't like the way that I'm being treated. Right. Or doesn't like certain conditions of the situation.
I kind of wish that this had been something that we'd been able to talk about in our last episode about relationships.
It would have been perfect for relationships. But then maybe that whole episode queued me up for this experience.
Yeah, totally. I love it.
We'll say that. Mm-hmm.
I feel like chills and good vibes coming through the airwaves.
Good. there they are.
Thank you.
They sound really weird, but there they are. So what about you, Rosalie? What's your weekly woo?
I have been struggling to narrow it down.
I know you were like, I've got a few.
I'll try to stick to just one. For me, it's as I'm getting more clients to my business.
Yay.
I got somebody who decided to get my past life reading. And it's an interesting reading because I was like channeling something way bigger than me when I came up with the layout of the reading and like figuring out what the different cards meant and where they went and how they interacted with each other. And it was like this moment of flow. And I was like a woman possessed when I was coming up with it.
Nice.
And it's so interesting because I started doing the reading. It's really complicated. It's 22 cards. It's very intricate and they're all like interwoven.
Oh, nice.
So I started doing it yesterday because it takes me a while to integrate everything and process everything. And as I was doing it, I was feeling that same sort of flow, that like something, the universe is moving through me when I do this reading.
I love that.
And it's like, oh, this is why. This is why I do what I do.
Aww.
And this is why I'm a spiritual person, because this feeling
Yes.
of being deeply connected to the greater universe, to my goddess, to the source is just bam. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. That gives me another weekly woo to share.
Yay. I knew you would have to.
Yes, you know me. I actually thought it's like, oh, I could use this as a weekly woo, and then I forgot about it. But it's not a big one. But like often as I lay in bed, I often do a lot of like energy clearing because I've got I've got negative emotions and negative thoughts and all this stuff that kind of cruds me up a little bit, particularly in the wintertime. And I just had this, it wasn't anything that I did. There was this moment where all of a sudden this like light euphoric feeling just came into my body.
Ooh.
I have no idea what happened. I was like, thank you to whatever was doing it or whatever was happening. I was like, thank you. Because I just felt this sense of love and peace.
Oh, I love it.
It was beautiful. Like I just could, and I could feel it energetically too. Like this, like just lightness in my energy. And I just and a floating feeling. It was delightful. It's like what I try to create when I do my energy work, but it's just but it just happened.
That's so awesome. That made me have another weekly woo. Why don't we just talk about all of our woo shit instead of doing a real episode?
It's a real weekly woo chain is what's happening here.
You know, I also deal with depression and anxiety, and for various reasons, it's been ramping up for me lately. And I actually kind of paused when I was really starting to struggle the other day. And I was like, wait a minute. I just did an episode about this. And I took some time and I did some meditation and really focused on mindfulness and asking for guidance from my goddess. And it was just oh, so much calmer.
Nice.
I went from feeling depressed and anxious to just oh, I feel chill. And it's yeah, okay, that's why I meditate.
Yeah. Well, my energy work too is by the end of it, I'm yeah, that's why I do this. I feel amazing now.
Yeah. So, when you do your woo, you feel good.
Thank you.
All right. So, Jillian, it's time for an ad break.
Ad break. I don't know why we did it in that voice.
I don't know. I was feeling kind of Dracula-y.
Enjoy your ad break.
Hi, Rosalie Forrest here. I'm so excited to announce the launch of my new metaphysical advising business, RosalieForrest.com. Whether you are brand new to the world of woo or you've been practicing for decades, my goal is to empower you to access and train your metaphysical skills. I'm available to help you identify the underlying cause of your stumbling blocks and to co-create solutions. Everyone has their own unique path, and I want to nurture yours. Do your woo. Ship My Soul Says listeners get 20% off everything on my website when you enter promo code SHIT at checkout at RosalieForrest.com. That's Forrest with 2 R's. I can't wait to work with you. Bye. And we're back.
What a delicious ad break. I could gnaw on that all day.
Please buy those goods and services. All right, so Jillian.
So, Rosalie.
Today we are doing another workshop episode, only this time you're leading it.
I'm leading it this time.
And I'm really excited because I didn't have to do any prep.
You are so welcome.
So take it away.
Yes, as I freeze in the moment. Yes, so for today's workshop, we are actually going to be delving into energy cleaning.
Yes.
So, I talk all of the time about the energy shit I get up to, all my energy clearing. And it's such a core part of my life and how I handle stress and how I handle depression and how I handle negative relationship issues and how I handle just being stressed at the end of the workday, that I wanted to share this with other people, what I do, and help them kind of help you lovely listeners come up with your own version, if you want to, give you kind of some thoughts about how you might make it your own. And in this, we're going to do two different things, okay? Because when it comes to cleaning, energy cleaning, you might just need a nice little pick-me-up kind of a cleaning.
Like a little spritzer.
A little spritzer. You just pop in the shower for 15 minutes and you're good to go for the rest of the day. But sometimes, you might want to get into kind of like when you clean your house, if you do, get into the nooks and crannies and get out that gunk that's been like living there for like 5 years.
Sure.
So we're going to go through two different kinds of cleanings.
So I just want to clarify for our listeners, we are specifically talking about cleansing ourselves. Correct?
Yes.
And not space or items, but just our human bodies.
We're just going to start with us.
Okay. And I have to say, I'm really, really excited for a couple of reasons.
Good.
One is that I talk a big talk about doing energy cleansing, but I don't actually do it that often. I tend to ground and center, and I usually just feel so good. I'm like, whatever. I can kind of skip that step. But there's definitely some stuff in my nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. And also, you are just so good at doing that with your energy work.
Oh, thank you.
Vibes. And you've got such power when it comes to doing that. So I'm really excited to get to experience it. And also for our listeners to get to have like a bit of a hands-on experience with that.
So you'll be able to kind of follow along. That's the intent. That's why it's a workshop. You're going to do it yourself. Or you can listen and do it later if you want to. If you're driving.
Or you can listen and not do it.
Exactly. You can do whatever the fuck you want because that's what we do around here. We say do your woo. But if you would like this to be sort of a guided experience, it certainly can be. Before we go into the guided experience, some of you are like, what the hell are you talking about? What is the energy field? What is energy clearing? What are you talking about?
Oh, what a good question.
Yes. So first, and I know that we talk about this in some of our other episodes, I particularly want to point back to our energy shit episode, the sucking and shoving one, I believe, because I think we talk about some of this stuff there as well.
We definitely do.
Yes. But essentially, the concept here that we're talking about is that you've got your physical body, right, that you live in with your flesh and blood and bones and all of that. But you also have an electromagnetic field around you. So sometimes that's called the human energy field. Sometimes that's called the aura, right? There are different words.
I think that people are probably most familiar with the concept of the aura.
But sometimes they don't really kind of know too much about it other than like sometimes people see colors around you, right? But the idea is that this is a magnetic energy field that interacts with your physical substance, right? And it actually pulls in energy to feed your physical body. So if your energy field is kind of mucky or gunky, it can cause things to go a little awry in your physical body because it's not digesting like clean, nourishing energy. I will admit one of my strong suits is not explaining scientifically technical details of stuff. So I'm going to try my best to kind of explain at least that side of things. But I will also recommend there's a lot of resources out there that can speak to this a lot better than I can. But the essential idea in this electromagnetic field is that it operates on frequencies. So that's why we say vibrations a lot. They've got good vibes. You feel the vibrations, right? Because you're vibrating at a particular speed.
And so I don't know if you're going to get into this, but I just want to kind of bring it up a little bit. In Chinese medicine, that concept, it's the Po, but there's 7 Po, so 7 different layers of your energy field. And I think that's in other places as well. And in my world, you can kind of view each energetic layer of your aura as corresponding to one of your chakras.
Yes.
And if something in one of your layers is foggy or mucky or murky, then you're not going to be able to see through the rest of the layers.
Yeah.
And so that was something that was explained to me in acupuncture school, was like, you've got to have all of these 7 things clean and aligned so that they're not preventing things from moving through.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And that you are reading my notes, apparently.
I'm not, though.
I know you're not. But that is something, too, that I wanted to talk about is the layers you have. Remember the 7-layer dip. I think we talked about
That's right. We did talk about the 7-layer dip.
You're a 7-layer dip. So you've got these different layers. And my understanding is that each layer has kind of a different focus or a different job. Like one layer really is about the physical structure of your body. One layer is the mental energy layer. One layer is the emotional energy layer. I really highly, if you're interested in getting into the nuts and bolts and details of all of this, highly recommend Barbara Brennan. She has several books that actually have diagrams and pictures, and she's by trade originally a scientist, a NASA scientist, who then became accidentally psychic. And she's like, what the F is this? And now she has a school of energy healing. Anyway, she really does a great job of explaining what all those layers are. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to teach you how to take care of them. It's not important necessarily from my perspective to know what they each do, but I do think it's interesting. Yes, and each one of those layers is associated with a chakra. And so we've talked about chakras before, but this might be your first episode. So a chakra is an energy. It's kind of like if you looked at it, it looks kind of like a spinning disc. And you have 7 basic ones. There are actually more, but we're going to just focus in on the original 7, the hot 7.
The 7 that most people are more aware of.
Exactly. And each one of them is in a different part of your body. And they are associated with different areas of your body and different qualities and different colors, etc. But the idea is that where that chakra is, it's pulling in energy and nourishing that part of your body. So, for example, there's one in your heart chakra, and that's in your heart. That's the one people can kind of figure out the easiest. And if you, for some reason, have issues in your energy field around maybe having some blocks around your heart, that can get into your chakra or cause your chakra to not work as effectively, and then can show up as heart problems or vascular problems. So that's why it's good to deal with things on the energetic level.
Before they become physical.
Exactly. And so, as I've talked about other episodes about how these relationship issues, I'm like, I need to deal with this because I don't want to have heart issues. Because I'm like, this is going to come for me, as I'm going to have a heart attack to wake up about love. And I'm going to take a hard pass on that.
Please don't.
That's what I'm trying. That's the real Cliff Notes version.
Do people even know what Cliff Notes are anymore?
If you're old like me, you do. I mean, you should. It's a cultural thing, right? I don't know.
It's the Reader's Digest version.
And they think you would know even less.
I know.
Anyway, the simple explanation of your energy field and what it looks like. But we will definitely link to Barbara Brennan information so that you can get some of the details if that's what you're wanting to gnaw on. You can gnaw on it. I don't know why I'm talking about gnawing so much today, but okay. Okay, so you've got this energy field, you've got these layers, you've got the chakra. Why is it important to maintain your energy field on a regular basis? So why to do this is because when you take care of your energy field, it's just like your house or your body. If you don't clean it,
it gets gross.
It gets stinky. and more yucky, gross stuff happens, right? And you get ants or whatever. Not that you're getting ants in your chakras.
Spiritual ants.
Spiritual ants. But you might get more depressed. You might get more anxious. You might just be negative about yourself. It just can be a real negative experience because you are meant, like your core being self operates on a high vibrational frequency. And when all this stuff happens, your vibrational frequency slows down and it feels uncomfortable. It feels unhappy. So when you maintain your energy field, you can feel lighter and brighter and happier and be healthier, like we were saying earlier about nourishing your body.
Yeah. And getting more energy, being a low energy person could just be like a chakra issue or an aura issue.
Yes.
It might also be due to other things. It's all interconnected.
Yeah, and even if it does, and to just be fair, even if it does have connection to your energy field, it doesn't necessarily mean one cleaning is going to solve all your depression issues, right? Necessarily. Now, like I said in a previous episode, I'm just going to keep on referencing previous episodes, apparently. I did have an episode where I was in a depressive state. I went and got an energy healing, and I felt great. I felt fine afterwards. That doesn't mean that always happens for people. But it does mean that it doesn't hurt to try it.
Absolutely. And especially I'm a big proponent of using all the tools in your tool belt.
Yes.
And so this is just one tool. And there are many, many others to deal with whatever you've got going on in your world. But this one is free.
Yep. And it's easy.
And easy. And Jillian's going to walk you through it.
Yeah. And it's my favorite. It's how I like to kind of deal with life and it makes me feel better.
Good.
So, yeah, talking about your energy field getting lowered, just to note, sometimes it can even be your own thoughts. If you have a lot of negative thoughts, that can cause a lowering of your energy. Sometimes of being around particular people, that's been my experience. If I'm around people that are operating on a low energy, sometimes you match them. Kind of like in that episode you were talking about matching neurons, Rosalie.
The mirror neurons.
Neurons. There's something similar that you can match the people that you're surrounded with. And that's why it's important to kind of be mindful about who you're hanging out with because your energy field can match theirs, right? And then that can affect you.
And it's kind of shitty because I found that it's much easier for me to match a lower vibration than a higher vibration. So, there are people who have high vibrations who are just so powerful with their energy field that you're like, oh my gosh, I feel amazing being around them. But just in general, the way that my energy field has a tendency to go into those lower vibrations, it's just like, oh, I can be lazy. I'll match that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, that happens when there's some people that I'm around. It's just it's hard for me to move right now because I'm caught up in their energy field. Yeah, so that's why it's important to maintain your energy field. So pretty much, just the general overview is just like your house needs cleaning and your body needs cleaning, so does your energy field. And I will say, you don't have to do this to clean your energy field. Sometimes, listening to some great music can help, change your energy, change your vibration. Or being around people that, are uplifting. Or just being out on a sunny day. There are a lot of things that can help you with your energy field. This is just a way to be intentional about it.
I love it.
So there you go. That's that.
Episode over.
Done. You're welcome. That's your educational portion of the discussion. So now we're going to do an energy cleaning. I'm going to walk you through this. So first we're going to start with this simple one.
Yeah. And I just want to give a caveat to all of our listeners out there. When I'm moving energy, I have a tendency to yawn a lot.
Yes.
So I'm going to be attempting to edit a lot of that out. But if you hear me yawn over and over and over again, it's not because I'm bored. It's because I'm moving energy and doing energy work. So
it's funny. People do have different things that they do. Yawning is very common. I tend to blow out air. So, but that's usually when I'm doing an energy healing, not so much doing one on myself. But I know one person, they burped.
I've known people who fart.
So as you do this, if you start burping and farting, now you'll know why. You're welcome.
If you're a very flatulent person, you can just tell the other people around you, like, I'm moving energy.
I love that. I'm going to use that in the future. And then the other thing that I will say, caveat to the listeners, is, hopefully you're in a place that you can be like undisturbed and that's quiet and you're not driving a car necessarily as you're doing this. Although for this light one, you can actually. I will do it sometimes as I'm even walking around through my neighborhood. You can do it. It just depends on how deeply you want to focus.
Sure. I want to focus deeply.
Get that deep focus happening. Okay. All right. So this is sort of your daily energy shower sort of a thing. Okay. Get comfortable. Get in a chair is a really great way to do this, but you can also do this lying down. It just kind of is a little bit trickier when we talk about the grounding cord, but wherever you're comfortable, it's just sink on in.
Sinking.
Now, first, what we're going to do, you can see I'm going to talk slower now. First, what we're going to do is we're going to ground you, okay? You're going to ground yourself. Now, there are lots of different ways you can do this. So I'm going to give you a few, and I want you to try them on and see what feels good to you. And you can try different ones every time you do this. So first, you can imagine tree roots growing.
That's mine.
That's yours.
Like tree roots.
That's probably why I picked up on that. So imagine it from where your hips are. And if you're sitting on a chair, you can kind of imagine them coming out your butt if you want to.
Along with your farts.
Yes. It's a delight, but you have a great time there. But go ahead and imagine these coming from like your hip waist area, going all the way down, 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 down into the center of the earth. And just feel yourself kind of reaching down to the earth. If you only can do this one thing, this is a great thing to do to make you feel more stable, more confident, and just able to kind of handle the world a little bit better. Other things that you can try, some people like imagining it as a waterfall coming from your hips all the way down to the, Yeah, give that a try. I'm not a water person. I'm a fire person, so I don't do that.
I mean, I'm a Pisces, but that feels weird to me. Like,
Yeah, like maybe, yeah. Okay. Also, you could imagine a ray of light coming from your hips all the way down to the center of the earth. Or you can even imagine kind of a tube. I like doing a tube.
Okay.
I like imagining those old-fashioned bank tubes.
Oh, yeah, the pneumatic tubes?
The pneumatic tubes. I like imagining a pneumatic tube going to the center of the earth and just sucking up my energy, my negative energy. So you play around with that. Sometimes you can imagine like a rope too. And one of the images I like as well is imagine that the earth is kind of like a magnet, or that you're wrapping your cord or whatever you're creating around it to really kind of ground yourself deep into the earth. Or you can even imagine, going back to the tube one, you can imagine your whole body in a tube. This is a new one I learned. So it can go up and down as well, just going down to the center of the earth.
You know, an image that just popped into my head was like a well with a bucket going down and down and down and down. And so you can pull up energy from the bottom of the well, or you can get rid of your negative crap in the bucket.
Look at that. And so that's a great point. Like, it's great when you're learning this to start with something kind of tried and true. But it's also really great to experiment, because something might just feel better to you, or you might have more fun with, like me in the pneumatic tube. Right?
Shoomp.
Yeah, it's all about using the power of your mind and not what the actual visual image is.
Right.
So, okay, so you've got your grounding cord going on. Now, what I like to do is we pick up energy in our fields, right? We pick up other people's energy. We've got our negative thoughts. We've got old energy that we're ready to let go of, some of our own gunk. So what I like to do is I like to clear that out. So first, I like to just kind of intend, and sometimes I imagine it as smoky gray energy, like gray clouds. And just imagine it kind of pouring down that grounding cord to the center of the earth to get recycled. And Mother Earth loves it. You're not polluting the earth. Sometimes that comes up. But really, she is able to take it and transform it into positive energy. So another thing that I like to do is I like to imagine some of that energy I'm trying to get rid of in my field as little pieces of metal.
Oh, interesting.
And then I imagine I turn on that magnetic core of the earth. And then I imagine them, even right now, I can just feel that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah. It just sucks it all out.
That was great.
Yeah. I love that one. It does seem really powerful to me. And then the other thing that I like to do, kind of similar, this is a little different, but I like to imagine, I don't know where I came up with this. This is what came up. I like to imagine these glass diamond shapes, 3-dimensional diamond shapes, glass, and then imagine them breaking. And where they break, or you could also think of pop rocks too. And as they break up any stuck energy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Tiny explosions.
Little explosions in your energy field. And then again, you want to just let that all go down your grounding cord to the center of the earth to get, How about that?
Well, I like that kind of image of something breaking or breaking something up, especially when combined with the metal thing. It's almost to me like TNT, like exploding things, because sometimes there's stuff that's caked on.
Yes.
And it's really hard, to just get that plaque of negative gunk off of your energy field. And so blowing it up that was really powerful. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, I find when I'm doing a lot of energy work that, there's something really powerful about that. If I'm focusing in on a particular area, that it really helps move energy out of anything that's really stuck. So give it a shot. Okay, now we're going to come in and we're going to do another layer of energy cleaning, right? Now that we've done all that stuff.
Are we done with the spritzer?
No, this is still the spritzer, but I have a few things that I do. I'd like to do lots of different techniques. Just the stuff that you spray on your counters versus the white stuff that you put on your counters. That's my technical cleaning terms. Just different cleaning products do different jobs.
Sure.
I like using different energy tools because they kind of can get at different kinds of energy gunk.
Great. Let's clean.
Yeah. So then the next thing, you've got 2 options. I'm going to go through each one of them. You can try them and see how you feel. Some might not like this first one. So if this just consciously doesn't sound good to you, you don't need to worry about it. But you can bring in the energy of fire. And you can imagine the fire burning up any stuck energy, any energy that's not yours, other people's energy, anything that you're ready to let go of. You can just kind of imagine that as little fires or a big fire.
Burning all this shit up.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to let the fire go. Yeah. And then this is my favorite. I like to imagine coming in from the top of my head, above the top of my head, pouring into my body and my whole energy field. And you can imagine your energy field like a glass bubble, like Glenda the Good Witch floated down in The Wizard of Oz, if you like. Or you can imagine it as an egg or stay in the cylinder or whatever you damn well please. But imagine coming in, bringing in white, bright white, just blinding white energy mixed with a yellow, positive kind of cleaning energy. I like to blend the two, and I like to think of it as kind of spiritual dish soap.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking of joy.
Exactly,
lemon
joy.
Scented dish soap.
That's exactly it. That's even in my notes. It's the joy cleaning.
And it's perfect because the name, joy.
Exactly. It's perfect. So imagine this energy coming in through your field and just cleaning out any residue, anything else that you forgot, and just cleaning those spaces that you've opened up and created new space. And then letting it kind of nourish your energy field. And then you can let that continue to pour down your grounding cord as well to kind of just cleanse your grounding cord, and cleanse it all the way down to the center of the earth.
So one of the things that was popping into my head, instead of a white light, because for me, light doesn't do shit for me. And that's just me. But it was like, okay, white suds, like soapy, scrubby suds. And like there were little scrubbers, like scrub brushes.
Yes.
Like getting in there and scrubbing and making everything really, really sudsy. Oh, it was good.
I love that. Yeah, and even sticking with the cleaning analogy, sometimes what I've done is imagine a vacuum hose.
Sure.
Sucking up things in my energy field. For me, I find it doesn't really give me as much of a zing as some of the other stuff does.
Sure.
But that's why it's so great to try things. You never know what's going to work.
Totally.
So give it a shot. So now that we've done kind of a good cleaning, we want to refill our energy, right? Because we've let go of a lot of energy. And this is, I learned the hard way. I was told by a psychic, David Zarza, the famous David Zarza, that I needed to ground more. So I started grounding more and was finding like, I'm really tired. Well, it was because I was letting stuff out, but I wasn't filling back in. So I was creating a vacuum, right? An energy vacuum.
Yeah.
So I've learned grounding is really great, but if you're getting rid of stuff, you want to fill back up.
Yes.
So we're going to fill back up 2 ways. So one, particularly if you have your feet on the floor, great. It works even better, but you can do this no matter what position you're in. Imagine energy, like this beautiful energy from the earth coming in. Imagine there are like holes in the bottom of your feet, like little suction holes. And they come up through your legs, up your legs, this earth energy, and up your thighs. And then it kind of comes up into your torso. And then you can do 2 things. You can have it kind of run around your shoulders and run back down into the earth, back down to ground, to really go down your grounding cord again. This is a great way to get your body the energy it really needs, because your body is made of the earth. So it's very, very helpful for your physical body. You can also, as you run it up, out the top of your head and share it with the universe, sort of an energy.
Oh.
I personally like putting it down into the earth because it grounds me more, but whatever feels good to you.
I was picturing that pneumatic tube taking stuff from the earth and going and then depositing it in my body.
I love it. Great. And now we've done our earth energy. So now this next thing is imagine a big orb above your head, like about a foot above your head, like this big orb of energy. And you can fill this orb with whatever kind of energy you want. So you can just fill it with like universe energy or God energy, if that's a word that you use, or goddess energy. You could fill it with love. But I really like to do 2 things. One, I like to fill it with my highest self energy.
Oh.
Yeah, that is really powerful. Or you can fill it with, if you have something that you specifically want to work on. So if you want to work on having more confidence, or if you want to have peace, or if you want to have laughter or joy, whatever that intention is, you can call that energy into this orb sphere above your head.
I'm going to call the energy of being motivated to do the dishes, because that's what I'm doing when we get off of our recording.
Well, perfect, because the dish soap will maybe inspire you. Sometimes I even like to just imagine colors too, just colored energy. As we've talked about in previous episodes, colors have different properties. So I've been playing around lately with imagining like liquid gold pouring into me. So you've got whatever you want you're moving a lot of energy there.
I know, I'm yawning like crazy.
I'm like, am I making her want to go to sleep? Mm-mm. No, she's just moving energy. So whatever you want to pull into that orb above your head. Now you can imagine it coming in and filling your energy field. And there's a few ways you can do this. You can imagine it coming in as a light. You can imagine it coming in like water. You can imagine it coming in dripping like honey into your energy fields. Whatever you like. So just imagine it coming into your energy and filling up your energy inside your body, in your whole energy sphere. And just just fill it on up
I love the image of honey. Like it just feels so decadent almost.
Yes.
And comforting at the same time.
Yeah, great. So take as much time as you like to really bathe in that. That's, I think, where a lot of the deliciousness comes in. And yeah, maybe some of you out there are like, I'm not feeling anything. Well, that's okay. You might not feel anything right now. But you might experience it over the next several days, like a brightness or a difference in your life. But hopefully you are feeling it. But it's okay if you're not. That's all. And then what I like to do is I like to finish off with imagining a nice energy protective shield around that globe that I've created around myself. And sometimes I'll make it of diamonds. Sometimes I might really use a visual image. Sometimes I might use it as titanium if I really want to feel a sense of deep protection.
Totally.
And sometimes I just think of it as a feeling like I want to have this emanate love within and without, but also like only allowing love coming in. It's really, again, about what your intention is as you're setting it. And you don't have to get caught up on what the visual image is. Whatever the visual image that works for you, that's what works for you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that's kind of the daily energy cleaning. And some of you are saying like, well, that seems like a lot? Well, that's fine. You don't have to do it all. You can cut it down and just do the grounding cord and filling yourself up with light. Whatever works. You can take the pieces that work for you and use them when you're ready to do them. There's no rules or law about how things have to be. You get to make this your own.
Because do your woo.
Do your woo. So that's something that you can do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, when you are in the mood to just fluff up your energy a little bit.
My energy feels fluffy.
You're fluffy. I love it. It really helps me. You know what, even? I think this is interesting. I've done it when I've had food cravings, when I was trying to like eat healthier. It was amazing. My food cravings like way diminished from it.
I need to try that.
Yes. Because usually when you're craving food or you're wanting to engage in some habit that's not healthy for you, there's some programming, there's some stress, there's something going on. And so the more you can get yourself back to your like higher state of self,
yes,
the more you can make choices that are in alignment with who you want to be in the world.
Well, and why couldn't you fill your orb with cake?
I suppose you could, if that's what works for you, and then put frosting on your energy shield.
Oh my God. Now I'm feeling fluffy.
Yeah. Now I'm feeling hungry.
That's not what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to take care of that craving.
That's why I can't fill up my orb with cake. But yes, you certainly could. Okay, so that's your little lovely bite. That's your amuse-bouche. No, let's not say that. That sounds pretentious. And it's not an appropriate analogy anyway. So that's that. The next thing I want to go over is doing a deeper energy cleaning.
Yes.
But I want to have enough time to dig into all that juiciness.
I know. It's amazing to me that quick little energy thing took so long.
I know.
But to our listeners, that's because Jillian was explaining so many different ways of doing the same thing. And I think personally, it's really helpful to have multiple different techniques available to me because, like we've been talking about, some things work better for me, some things work better for Jillian, and some things will work better for you.
And the thing, too, is it also kind of illustrates about how you can try different things, right? And play around with them and see how they work. Now, you might have in your life, you might be somebody who likes to knit, or you might be somebody who likes to go to gun ranges, or I don't know what your personal hobbies are, but you can incorporate. They're very different things, I know. But yet they both came up in conversations I had today, so that's why they came in there. So you can try whatever, like something that's in your life that you're familiar with, that you can kind of play around with, that you enjoy.
I'm trying to figure out how to knit myself clean.
Which you could knit yourself a protection.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fascinating idea.
Yeah. Or you could knit yourself a grounding cord.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you coming up with fun ideas.
I can come up with all of them. So we are going to do in another episode, so look out for that, a deep cleaning one. And this one, we're going to go through cleaning of your layers, cleaning of your chakras, explaining what the different chakras are, and really doing a deep clean.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. It's coming to you in the future.
I cannot wait for that because this little taste, the daily spritzer of cleaning, made me feel so good.
Yay.
Jillian.
I love that. Oh, and I'll tell you one of the things I had to figure out on my own. I like to do energy cleanings when I'm in bed.
Okay.
But all of the trainings that I've done is like you're sitting in a chair.
Right.
How do you imagine a grounding cord when you're lying down?
Mm-hmm.
It seems weird. So I will tell you two things that I do. So one, in case you're doing this, and maybe it's too late, you're like, I needed this 30 minutes ago, but you're welcome. One is I just imagine it from my hips just going straight down for whatever position I'm in. So it goes like, so it's like a T shaped, right? Or another thing that I like to do is sometimes I go to imagine that big bubble around my body, and I have the grounding cord like coming from the sides of the bubble all the way down. So it's a little bit even bigger.
Interesting. The thing that I like to do when I'm lying down is that my grounding cord is just gigantic and it covers everything from my butt to the crown of my head.
Yeah.
And just zoom. And so it's huge, but it does the same thing. It doesn't matter what size you picture it.
And that's, yeah, exactly. It's not like there has to be this big rule about grounding cords. You can use grounding cords for lots of different things. Actually, you can ground your car as you're driving.
You just blew my mind.
Yes. Yeah. And it can be whatever shape you want it to be. As to your point, we don't have to be in this rigid old school world. You can play with things.
Absolutely.
So yeah, play with it. Let us know if you have some things that you've cooked up, if you've figured out how to incorporate knitting in a new way to your energy healing or your gun shooting. You could shoot little bullets at your energy gunk. Whatever works. If that's your thing, do it.
Do your woo.
Do your woo. So yeah, on that note.
Okay.
It's time to set intentions.
Yes. So, Jillian, what was your intention last time?
My intention last time was to have more balance in my life when it came to my physical.
Yeah.
What was it? Was that it?
That was it.
Yeah. Well, I'm nailing it. I'm nailing it. I'm nailing it. Yeah, I've totally changed. I've been getting a lot more exercise. I got 18,000 steps yesterday and then did a 35-mile bike ride today. Just have really been incorporating both healthy eating and healthy movement into my life in a regular way. So I feel I've been so like on a high lately because like I've been taking care of my physical body. It's been great.
That's awesome. Yay.
Yes. What about you, Rosalie? What was yours from last time?
Mine was to focus on movement. So, I mentioned that in the wintertime, it's hard for me to want to move. Although in the Pacific Northwest, it has been sunny and warm and you could barely believe that it was February.
I know. Thank goodness.
It's funny because I set the intention and then promptly forgot about it. So my kid has been like, Mama, chase me, and like wanting me to lift him up and, do all these physical things. So I'm just doing them.
So this is fascinating to me because I think you're a spiritual delegator. You're a spiritual delegator of your intentions. You loop other people into your intentions.
Unintentionally.
No, but that's what your spirit does. Like you did your husband. And now your kid?
I know.
You outsource your intention. I love that.
So yeah, like going on walks with him and so much chasing lately. Just
That's great. Well, there you go.
And like dance parties. So yeah.
Good. So what's yours for this next 2 weeks?
My intention for the next 2 weeks is to really focus on making sure that every last little bit of my business is golden. It's ready to go. I'm prepared to be the best metaphysical advisor and tarot reader and artist that I can be. And I'm putting the intention out there that all y'all will then help me with the money piece by becoming my clients.
So there you go.
Yeah. What's your intention?
I love it. So my intention is all about, I want to be brighter. I want to turn up my light. I think over time we often learn to kind of dim our light, particularly if we're like big personalities, right? Mm-hmm. So it's easy to kind of hide it a little bit and try to just slip by and not get quite so noticed. So that's my intention for the next 2 weeks, is for me to turn up my light and just really shine brightly in my professional life, in my personal life, and really just like let my true higher self energy like shine out more.
Love it. That's beautiful.
So we'll see. I can't outsource that.
I mean, you could try.
To my guides, maybe.
To your cats.
I don't think they'd be very good at that. Well, but I'm curious to see how you outsource. Well, you're outsourcing it to your customers.
Yeah, like I've already delegated. I've already delegated it.
You delegated to our audience is what you just did.
I know. And make sure to tell your friends.
Yes. But I will say, too, I was talking to somebody who thinks somebody put a hex on them. I'm like, well, you should talk to Rosalie.
That's right.
She's just amazing. And if you think you've got any like weird entities, or you're curious if you do, or you think anybody's sending any bad juju at you, like that is one of Rosalie's game areas.
Yes. And what my goal is to empower you to be able to deal with it yourself.
Yes, so that people don't have to be reliant on somebody else.
Right. And so I'm not going to be like, oh, if you give me $10,000, I'm going to take away this demonic entity or whatever. No, fuck that shit.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
I'll just help you to figure out how to best deal with it on your own and give you tips and tricks and use my intuition to help you get into that place where you're successful.
I love it. So that you can fish for yourself. Fish those fucking demons for yourself.
Demon fish.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm hungry.
For demon fish. Okay.
It wasn't the cake. It's the demon fish.
All right. Well, you need your protein, I guess. Or your demon macronutrient. Juice. Whatever that is.
Demon juice.
Your demon juice. Yes. Blech. Enjoy Blech. That. Blech. I don't need any demon juice.
Oh, nobody does.
No.
Okay, Jillian, on that delightful note.
On that note.
Do your woo.
Yes, do your woo.
And tell us, what shit does your soul say?
Yes, what shit does your soul say?
Bye.